All right.
Let me just click. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
perfect.
I'll go to match 395 of FLQL. Prakhar, you're in seed 1. Sourjo, you're in seed 2. Paul, you're in seed 3. And Matthew, you're in seed 4. Right?
Good luck, everybody.
Good luck.
Again. Prakhar, here's your first direct. The book Blank Blank by Raphael Honigstein has the self-explanatory subtitle, How German Football Reinvented Itself and Conquered the World. What punny name inspired from the world of films is given to the book? It is apt because of the country that forms the subject and the theme of the book. Ten seconds, Prakhar.
Can't think of anything. Pass.
Okay, Sourjo,
Pass. Can't remember.
Paul,
Pass.
Matthew.
Pass.
Okay.
There's a re somewhere in it.
Yeah, it does. It does. Talks about reinvention. So this references Wolfgang Pedersen's 1981 film Das Boot. So this is called
Okay. Good one. Good one.
That is hard there.
goes off with. Prakhar, here's your second direct. 11 of the Booker Prize winners have titles that are in the form of X of Y. For example, Alan Hollinger's The Line of Beauty or Arundhati Roy's God of Small Things. Which William Golding book won the 1980 Booker, centering around the events that happened during the crossing of the equator on a sea voyage from England to Australia? The title comes from an X of Y term that was introduced by ethnographer Arnold van Gennep. Schematic representation is shown in the image as something that can have three phases: separation, liminality, and incorporation. Ten seconds, Prakhar.
Lord of the Flies.
Not Lord of the Flies. Sourjo,
Pass.
Paul,
Pass.
Matthew.
Should know, but pass. Pass.
Is this like to the ends of the earth or something?
No, it's see like right of separation and right
This is
of.
some like how cultures change and stuff, right? Something like that.
Yeah, well,
But I don't know the term.
it's called rites of passage.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I've
Right,
heard this one. Yeah.
Suddenly thought of it when you said, yeah.
Right, Sourjo is your first direct. For the first time since 1986, the top three podium finishes at the 3,000-meter steeplechase event in the 2022 Commonwealth Games did not go to athletes from which country? This 36-year-old streak was ended courtesy India's Avinash Sable, who earned silver, sandwiched between Abraham Kibibo and Amos Seren of that country.
Kenya.
Yeah, that's correct. Great answer there. Start your direct with. All right, Sourjo, there's your second direct. A certain tricarboxylic acid cycle is used by organisms that respire to generate energy. What other name by which it is commonly known comes from the name of the scientist who identified it in 1937, along with William Arthur Johnson. The former received the Nobel Prize for Physiology for this discovery in 1953.
Krebs.
Yeah, that's correct. It's the Krebs cycle. Well done. Paul, here's your first direct. The Corinthia Hotel is decked in white and blue colors to pay tribute to the meeting of the two tributaries of the Nile. In which major African city on the river's route would you find this building that provides a great view of the confluence? The city's name suggests an etymology that references this confluence, and a famous movie Equine bears this name. Ten seconds, Paul.
I don't know. Cairo.
Not Cairo. Matthew.
Khartoum.
Yeah, that's good. This is Khartoum, the capital of Sudan, referencing
The
the
Godfather.
decapitated horse from The Godfather. Yeah. Or here's your second direct. Seen here is self-portrait with skeleton arm by which artist created in 1895. He's known for his dark and dreary expressionist depictions, and this self-portrait is not an exception. His depiction of himself is, however, much less agitated than the main figure in his most recognizable work.
This is Munch.
Yeah, that's good. This is Edward Moe.
Oh, it's
Matthew, here's your first direct of the game. What name referencing another creature is given to these beetles of the genus Dynastinae? Their common name comes from their characteristics horns borne by the males. They have a horn on the head and another horn pointing forward from the center of their thorax, which they use for fighting and digging.
Rhinoceros beetle.
Yeah, that's correct. This is the rhinoceros beetle. Well done. And here's your second direct of the game, Matthew. What funny name did Tim Moore give to his sports book where he covers the world's most watched cycling competition? It was an apt name considering the event in question, the late 18th century political history of the country of the event, and the way the main implements in a cycle move.
The French Revolution.
Yeah, French Revolutions is correct. Well done. Prakhar, here's your third direct. Known for his designs like the Bumster jeans or the armadillo shoes, who is this British fashion designer who served as the chief designer for Givenchy for starting his own fashion label? Known as the enfant terrible of British fashion, he designed the dress that Janet Jackson wore at the infamous Super Bowl 38 halftime show.
Oh, I knew this.
10 seconds, Prakhar.
Can't remember now. Pass.
Okay, passes to Sourjo,
Pass.
Paul,
pass.
Matthew.
Alexander McQueen.
That's correct. It's
Oh,
Alexander.
it is.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. Okay. Who
Right.
is this? I thought like this is like. he's
I
still
thought
like,
he's. I
yeah,
mean,
because he's
this
dead.
guy's still
so,
alive.
Yeah, he's dead. I mean, okay. Who is was like a bit. Okay, but no.
Right, Prakash, here's your fourth direct. Peepli embroidery is a colorful art that is named after a town in eastern India and is a form of applique, at which festival associated with a trio of siblings is one likely to come across the biggest examples of this art. Ten seconds.
Okay, this is like Jagannath Yatra.
Yeah, it's Jagannath Rath Yatra in Puri. Well done. Sourjo, here's your third direct. Another X of Y titled Booker Prize winner was the 1989 winner. Which novel filmed by James Ivory to great acclaim in 1993 are we talking about? The 2008 interview, the author stated that despite the serious tone of the book, Jeeves was a big influence, while Salman Rushdie described it as a book where death, change, pain, and evil invade the innocent Wodehouse world.
Remains of the day.
That's correct. This is Remains of the Day by Kazuo Ishiguro. Well done. And here's your fourth direct, we'll go 4 for 4. Written by Robert William Cole, the science fiction novel, The Struggle for Empire, the story of the year blank, is considered one of the first space operas. It is credited with being the first novel to introduce the concept of galactic empires and interstellar travel. In which year is the novel set? If you added decimal after the first digit of the year, you get the principal square root of 5 rounded to 3 decimal places. Ten seconds, Shobro.
Two, 5, 7, 8.
No, Paul,
Pass.
Prakhar,
No, pass.
Matthew.
I can't work out the square root of 5. Pass.
Like
I
two,
got to
two,
2, 3
six-
something, and
2,
then
2, 6, 8.
that's it.
Sorry?
Is it 2268?
No, you're pretty close though. It's 2236.
2,
Ah.
2, 3, 6.
Or here's your
Okay.
third direct. For this bridge to be constructed, an estimated 469 buildings on either side had to be demolished to create its foundations, foreshadowing the annual fireworks it's known for. Due to its arch-based design, what object found in a wardrobe can be used as a nickname for this bridge. This object is a symbol of illegal self-induced abortion. You do not need the bridge's name.
So you want the wardrobe, the object in the wardrobe,
Yeah.
right? So coat hanger.
Yeah, that's correct. It's the coat hanger. Yeah. All right, refers to the Sydney Harbour Bridge. Paul, here's your fourth direct. In the 90s, the hip hop scene was rooted in a rivalry between artists from the East Coast versus the West Coast of the United States, comprising many diss tracks. The focal point on either side were East Coast rapper Tupac and which rapper from the West Coast. A rivalry that culminated in the murders of both artists only a few months apart. It all began when the rapper in question released the song Who Shot Ya, aimed at Tupac.
This is Biggie.
Yeah, Biggie Smalls, notorious P.I.G. If you want to know his government name, it's Christopher Wallace. Matthew, here's your third direct. Which ethno-linguistic group, the largest in the country, was referred to by early Spanish colonists as the Pintados or the Painted Ones due to their widespread practice of tattooing to record battle exploits. This group was once erroneously thought to have derived its name from a Southeast Asian empire, but in fact are named after one of the 3 principal geographical divisions of the Philippines.
The Taino.
No, Prakhar?
Visayas?
No, Sourjo? Oh, sorry.
Pass.
Did you say Visayans?
Yeah, Visayas from
Yeah,
the
that's correct.
Vijaya.
You said something else. I'm sorry for that. That's the correct answer. That's a great answer. These are indeed the Visayans.
Science. Okay. Nice
Can you just
answer.
wait a second? My internet is acting up. I need to change some seconds. Just
All
give
right,
me a
sure.
minute. Just give me a second. Okay, I'm going to be like disconnected for 5 seconds and then I'll be back. Just give me a second.
Sure.
Okay, I think, yeah, it's good now. Sorry for keeping you guys waiting.
All right. Matthew, here's your fourth direct. Premiering in Stockholm in 1978, Le Grand Macabre is the only opera by which Hungarian composer, best known outside the classical music sphere for his works being used in Stanley Kubrick's 2001 A Space Odyssey, The Shining and Eyes Wide Shut. Famously, after Kubrick's death, he was seen escorting his widow at one of the premieres of Eyes Wide Shut.
Oh God. Ligeti.
Yeah, that's a great answer. It's Georgi Ligeti. Right. Start off the third round. Directs for Prakhar again. Here's your fifth direct, Prakhar. What name referencing another creature is given to these animals of the family Macroscelidae? They get their common name due to their long noses, which resemble that of another animal.
Elephant shrew
Yeah, that's a great answer.
or Shangi.
Yeah, this is the elephant shrew.
That's good.
And here's your sixth direct, Prakhar. The only collaboration between 2 of the greatest cinematic exports from a certain country, both bearing the same surname, which 1978 film tells the story of a celebrated classical pianist in the twilight of her career, their neglected daughter, meet for the first time in many years. The film would be remade 15 years later as Unishe April, the 19th of April, in Bangla by Rituparna Ghosh. Ten seconds, Prakhar.
Persona.
Not Persona. Sourjo.
Autumn Sonata.
That's correct. This is Autumn Sonata.
Yeah, it's a good film.
Okay, your first bonus point of the game. Sourjo, it's your fifth direct. Seen here is self-portrait and profile made in 1957 by which artist? The piece conveys the French artist's avant-garde approach to creating just one in a series of 137 pieces. The silhouetted depiction is composed of torn paper pasted on velvet-covered paperboard. The text reads blank Deshirawa or blank told this quickly.
Matisse.
Not Matisse, Paul,
Pass.
Prakhar,
Many guesses pass.
Matthew.
Duchamp.
Yeah, that's correct. This is Duchamp.
Okay.
Well done.
Well done. Sourjo, here's your sixth direct. Ferdinand Romualdez Marcos Jr. followed his father Ferdinand Marcos Sr.'s footsteps in June 2022 to become the second member of his family to become president of the Philippines. However, in his country, Marcos Jr. goes with the nickname BBM. If M stands for Marcos, but reduplicating nickname for him fills up the BB.
Bong Bong.
Bong Bong is correct. Right? Paul, here's your fifth direct. If one disregards its ambitious but unfinished Sardan Pal, then Don Sanche, composed at the age of 13, is the only complete opera by which manic composer. The opera premiered in Paris in 1825, and he would soon move there from a different country, write the first of his symphonic poems, What One Hears on the Mountain, inspired by Victor Hugo's poem of the same name. Ten seconds.
I'll pass.
Prakhar,
Pass.
Sourjo,
List.
List is
Yes.
correct.
It's Listomania. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
manic referencing Listomania. Yeah. Paul, here's your sixth direct. This form of metallic embroidery was brought from Persia to India by the Mughals and was patronized by them, and is named after a noble metal used in the craft, usually made using RE needles. What is this highly embellished and expensive form of embroidery?
I'll pass this.
Prakhar,
Zardozi.
that's correct. This is a dozy. Great answer there. Zar means gold. Matthew, here's your fifth direct. On the upper reaches of the White Nile, the river splits into two paths. To the east, it forks through Damietta, while to the west, it goes through which city, together forming the Nile Delta. This port city, around 65 kilometers east of Alexandria, has both an Arabic and English name, although we are more familiar with the English one, thanks to a 1799 discovery that is now the British Museum's most visited exhibit.
Rosetta.
That's correct. The Arabic name is Rashid.
Russia.
Matthew, here's your sixth direct. In which year did Khizr Khan, Timur's governor of Multan, take over the Delhi Sultanate from Daulat Khan Lodi to found the Sayyid dynasty? If you add a decimal after the first digit in the year, you get the first number to be irrational, which also happens to be the principal square root of 2.
Oh man. 1416.
Passes to Paul.
1414.
Yeah, that's correct.
Ah.
Hard luck there, Matthew. Came pretty close.
Right.
It's 1414. Yeah. Prakhar, here's your seventh direct to start off the fourth round. The aim of this insurgent group that has been waging war against the government since 1949 is to create an independent homeland called Korku Leh. Which insurgent group / ethno-linguistic group is this? They play a major role in the 2008 Rambo reboot that takes place during the Saffron Revolution. The name is shared with a pejorative name associated with uptight white women. Ten seconds, Prakhar.
The Rakhine insurgency.
No, Paul.
I'll pass.
Okay, Sourjo.
I'll just say Karen. See what happens.
That's correct.
Oh,
The Karen rebels. Any
Karen.
guesses as to what country they come from? All right, they're from Myanmar.
Laos. Okay.
Right, these are the current rebels of Myanmar. Prakhar, here's your 8 direct. The co-recipient of the 1996 Nobel Peace Prize, Jose Ramos Horta, became president for a second time in which Asian island country? In his first stint as president, his PM was Shanana Gusmao, who interestingly got his first name from the American band Sha Na Na, who in turn were named after a lyric from the 1957 song Get a Job by the Silhouettes.
Timor-Leste.
That's correct. East Timor or Timor-Leste. Well done, Prakhar. Quick answer there. Sourjo, here's your 7th direct. Frustrated at record label's preference for Compton-based rappers, Tim Dog released Fuck Compton in 1992. That elicited a response from which artist in his landmark 1992 album, The Chronic. The song Fuck With Blank Blank became the starting point of a landslide of diss tracks from both sides. He would later become the CEO of music companies Death Row Records and Aftermath Entertainment, and is credited with launching the career of Eminem.
Dr. Dre.
That's correct. Dr. Dre, or his government name is Andre Young, which would have also been acceptable. Sourjo, here's your 8th direct. This photo shows the progress made on which iconic landmark by 1887. It used to be a functional place of worship, even though construction continues, funded largely by donations. It is estimated to be finished by 2026, 100 years since the architect died in a tram accident on his way to confession.
Sagrada Familia.
Yeah, that's correct. It's the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona. The architect was Gaudi.
Just a second. Let me just cut that. I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
Are we good to go, Paul?
Yeah.
All right. Here's your 7th direct. For Givenchy's autumn 1998 collection, Alexander McQueen drew inspiration from which 1982 sci-fi noir classic. He was particularly inspired by the character of Rachel Tyrell, played by Sean Young, and several of his models wore makeup to resemble Rachel.
Is this Blade Runner?
Blade Runner is correct. Well done. Paul, here's the 8th direct. In which athletics event did India earn both gold and silver, with Eldos Paul and Abdullah Abu Bakar taking the top 2 spots? The world record and Commonwealth record for the event is held by Jonathan Edwards of Great Britain.
Is there a photo?
Sorry. I'll just go with steeplechase. I don't know.
Not steeplechase,
And
Prakhar.
is there an image there? Because I don't see it.
There was an image, but that was not really helpful. It just showed the 2 athletes. Prakhar?
Triple jump.
Yeah, triple jump is correct. Great answer there. Don't know what happened to the TSC. It's not showing the image anymore. Matthew, here's your 7th direct. The first and last step of Krebs cycle ends up forming a 6-carbon compound, which is a citrate that is commonly known as aldol condensation reaction. What 2 organic compounds make up the compound word aldol?
Oh God. Aldehyde and alcohol.
That's correct. Sadly,
Oh, good.
Well done. And here's the final question before the half. To get this, you're tied with Sourjo. What was the X of Y title book that won the 1973 Booker, the second book of J.G. Farrell's Empire trilogy? It chronicles the siege of a fictional town during the Indian Rebellion of 1857.
No, I'll pass.
Okay, Paul,
Pass.
Prakhar,
Pass.
Sourjo.
Siege of Krishnapur.
That's correct.
Yeah.
This is the siege of Krishnapur. Right at the half, Sourjo's leading Matthew by 2. Prakhar, here's your 9th direct, shown here as it nears its completion in 1965. Which monument would gain 6 more feet in height when the final pieces were put in place over the next few days after this shot, bringing it to a grand total of 630 feet? Some sources consider it the tallest man-made monument in the Western Hemisphere.
The Gateway Arc Century.
Yeah, this is the Gateway Arch in St. Louis, also called the Gateway to the West. Prakhar, here's your 10th direct. This is a self-portrait of which American artist celebrated for his contributions to New York City street culture. The artist is known for putting a pop art spin on graffiti, is evident in this 1985 artwork.
Keith Haring.
Yeah, that's a great answer. You were 2 for 2 on your direct side. This is Keith Haring. Well done. Sourjo, here's your 9th question. Which ethnic group of Sri Lanka was legally defined in 1883 by the Chief Justice of Ceylon as those whose father was born in Ceylon, at least one European ancestor on one's direct paternal side? Michael Ondaatje is perhaps the most well-known global face of this ethnic group, whose snacky name is actually derived from the Dutch word for castle. And second, Sourjo.
The burgers.
Yeah, that's correct. These are the burgers, Burgher.
Okay.
The word comes from the same root as bourgeois. Sourjo, here's your 10th, correct? This type of embroidered kilt found in the greater Moymansingo, Rajshahi, Faridpur, and Joshua regions is called Nokshi Blank. The exact origin of the second word is not accurately known, but it had a precursor in a word that means field in Hindi and Bangla. According to Niaz Zaman, the word could have originated from a Sanskrit word meaning rags, as it was originally made from them. Fill in the blank.
Katha.
Yeah, Katha is correct. Answer. Yeah, comes from the word khet or kontha. Paul, here's your 9th direct. What name referencing another creature is given to these amphibians of the genus Lithobates? They get their common name because of the array of irregularly shaped dark spots that adorn their backs and legs, which resemble those seen on another animal.
Uh, the uh, the anaconda frog.
No, Matthew,
Leopard frog?
that's correct. It says the leopard frog. Get that question correct again. All right, Matthew. Paul, did you get 2 directs?
I don't. Wait. Were there 2 directs? I had this one. And what was the previous one? The previous one was the Kate one, no?
Okay.
Yeah, he had only one.
I had only
Only
one.
1 direct, all right. Yeah, so this will be direct again for Paul. So this was answered by Matthew, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so this should work now. Yeah. Vilgjo Schumann's film Ingmar Bergman makes a movie. It's about the making of which 1963 film is often considered the second movie of his Faith trilogy, alongside Through a Glass Darkly, made in 1961, and The Silence, made in 1963. The English title is a metaphorical description of love or vitality while being distant from human life.
I'll pass this.
Okay, passes to Prakhar.
Pass.
Matthew,
Sure, I've watched it, but pass.
Sourjo,
Wild strawberries.
not wild
I
strawberries.
don't mind.
It says Winter Light.
I have watched it. I've watched
Yeah,
it.
this one I had heard, but I haven't watched.
Yeah.
I've not seen anyone get this, like in any of the games I've read. So
Clue wasn't very helpful. Yeah.
here's your 9th direct. Which godfather of gangster rap put together an entire EP dedicated to his beef with Dr. Dre, entitled It's on Dr. Dre 187 Killa. The EP cited Dre as a studio gangster in a deviation from the East versus West rivalry. This was a result of a beef amongst the past members of Compton-based group NWA that included himself.
Is it? Ice Cube.
Your Ice Cube. Paul,
Nice.
I'll pass this.
Prakhar,
Pass.
Sourjo.
Pass.
The other one, isn't it?
Not easy, right? You
Yeah,
skill.
it is
Easy.
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 Ah.
Yeah, just went the wrong way.
Matthew, here's your 10th direct. These are some dresses from Alexander McQueen's first fashion show. They were inspired by one of his favorite movies, which also happened to be the profession of his father. Which movie is this? Also the winner of the 1976 Cannes Film Festival, Spawn d'Or.
Taxi driver.
Taxi Driver is correct. Well done. All right. And with that, we begin the 6th round. Prakhar, here are your directs. All right. Here's your 11th direct, Prakhar. 1993, which fatherly American rapper started the New York-based label Bad Boy Records in direct response to the Compton-based label Death Row Records' preference for local artists. Although it did not perform any diss tracks during this rivalry, his 1997 debut album No Way Out was an ode to the loss of Biggie to the feud. Ten seconds, Prakhar.
Daddy Yankee.
No, Paul.
Pass.
Puff. Yeah.
Matthew.
What? Oh, no, sorry, Puff Daddy.
Yeah, Puff Daddy is correct.
I thought you said it. I thought you said Puff, and I was like, oh yes.
No, I said
Yes.
Daddy Yankee.
I
I got it
thought
like
you
it was
said-
Daddy, but yeah.
Like
You
pass
said
instead
Puff.
of
I thought you
Puff,
said
because
Puff.
Puff would have been acceptable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Prakhar, here's your 12th direct. A eukaryote Krebs cycle takes place in the matrix of which cellular organelle, discovered by Albert von Kolliker in 1857. It is perhaps the only cellular organelle that is the subject of a meme, originating from a phrase coined by biologist Philip Siekowitz, a Scientific American article from 1957. Ten seconds.
Mitochondria.
Yeah, that's correct.
What's the
Mitochondria,
name?
powerhouse of the cell.
Okay, but okay.
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 All right. Yeah. This next question, what name referencing another creature is given to these simians of the genus Ateles? They have long spindly limbs and long prehensile tail that they use to grab or hold on to objects.
Spider monkey.
Yeah, that's spider monkey. Sourjo, here's your 12th direct. Originally titled Leonore or the Triumph of Marital Love and premiering at the Theatre and Wien in 1805, Fidelio is the solitary opera by which composer? He lends his initials to the ticker stock symbol for the Steinway Music Company.
Beethoven.
That's correct. You go 2 for 2 again. Well done. Paul, here's your 11th direct. What was the name of the 2002 Booker Prize winning book, which also had an X-Y title? The India-born protagonist of the novel was named after his swimming pool and hotel complex in Paris's Porte Molitor.
Life of Pi.
Hussein Molitor Patel being Pi's full name. Paul, here's your 12th direct. What term, a combination of two words meaning original people and sharing its etymology with the largest arboreal mammal on earth from the same region, is used by the heterogeneous indigenous population, the oldest inhabitants of peninsular Malaysia? The country's Aboriginal Peoples Act provides them special status enshrined within the law.
The orange people, maybe? Or from orangutan?
Passes to Prakhar.
Guess what? I'll pass.
Matthew,
Pass.
Sourjo.
Pass.
This is not the Bhumiputera.
No, these are, as Paul worked out, the first part is Orang, but the second part is Orang Osli.
Let's see.
Matthew, here's your 11th direct. Named after a colorful semi-nomadic tribe, this embroidery form incorporates coins, woolen tassels, cowrie shells, beads, mirrors, and other embellishments. What is this eponymous tribe that the embroidery technique is named after? Their name originates in the Sanskrit for trade, according to some, or in their forest roaming tendencies for others.
Sadly, I have to pass. Pass.
Okay, Paul,
Pass.
Prakhar,
Pass.
Sourjo,
Panya.
not Panya. It's pretty close though. This is Banjara.
Banjara. Right.
Matthew, here's your 12th direct. Recently, which politician was named Sri Lanka's acting president after the ousting of Gotabaya Rajapaksa over the country's economic downfall? He served as the Prime Minister of Sri Lanka in 5 separate stints, leading 6 governments from 1993 to 1994, 2001 to 2004, 2015 to 2018, 2018 to 2019, now in 2022.
I should know this, but I don't. Pereira.
Now, Pereira, Paul,
Pass.
Prakhar.
Vikramasinghe.
Yeah, that's correct. This is Ranil Wickramasinghe.
Vikramasinghe. Ah, yes, okay.
Move 1 point behind Matthew. Prakhar, here's your 13th direct. In which year was Woodrow Wilson sworn in as the 28th US president? It was the same year that Canberra became the official capital of the Commonwealth of Australia. The Young Turks led a coup d'etat against the Turkish government. If you added decimal after the first digit in the year, get the cube root of 7 rounded to 3 decimal places.
So, okay. So,
10 seconds, Prakhar.
I'll go with 1913.
Could you repeat your answer again? Just say it.
1913.
Yeah, that's correct. That's a great answer.
Yeah.
Very good.
Well
Great
done.
work out there. I saw you working it out mathematically. That's really impressive. Prakhar, here's your 14th direct. At which venue were all cricket games in the 2022 Birmingham Commonwealth Games played? The Indian cricket team earned silver in the competition after losing the final to Australia.
Okay. Oh, you want the name of the ground?
10 seconds, Prakhar.
Edgbaston.
Yeah, that's correct. Edgbaston. 2 very good answers there, Prakhar. You're 2 for 2 on that round. And Sourjo, here's your 13th direct. Which city located on the shores of the White Nile became the capital in 2011 to the world's youngest country? City is unlikely to keep that status for too long, as the government has already announced that the capital will be moved to Ramsey. Ten seconds, Sourjo.
Darfur.
Not Darfur. Paul,
Pass.
Prakhar.
Juba.
Yeah, that's a great answer.
Yeah.
3 consecutive questions correct, and you're now 1 point behind Sourjo for the lead. Sourjo, here's your 14th direct. The idea in theoretical physics implies that reality is made up of infinitesimal vibrating blanks, smaller than atoms, electrons, or quarks. For this theory, as the blanks vibrate, twist, and fold, they produce effects that humans interpret as everything from particle physics to large-scale phenomena like gravity. What two-word term is this that forms the title of David Foster Wallace's 2016 book that contains essays on tennis?
String theory.
String theory is correct. Well done. Paul, here's your 13th direct. High concentrations of NADH can inhibit the Krebs cycle. The N corresponds to a form of vitamin B3, alternatively called niacinamide, that is used as a supplement to treat pellagra. What naturally produced alkaloid, named after a French ambassador to Portugal, as shown in the visual, was this form of vitamin B3 was synthesized from?
Can you maybe zoom in the photo?
Yeah, I can, but I have to ask Paul to request to that request. Can I zoom in, Paul?
Go ahead.
No.
Never mind.
I'll pass this. I have no idea.
Okay, passes to Matthew.
Pass.
Prakhar.
Is this nicotine?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jean-Nicot de Vilma.
of course. Yeah.
Yeah, Prakhar's impressive run continues, and he's 1 point behind Sourjo again. Paul, here's your 14 direct. Couple of weeks ago, India swore in its 15th president, Srimati Draupadi Murmu. Among the other Asians inducted in 2022 as a leader of a country is which latest Pakistani Prime Minister who took office after Imran Khan was ousted through a no confidence motion in April. His brother also held the PM post in Pakistan in the 2010s.
I'll pass.
You're passing, all right? Passes to Matthew.
Pass.
Prakhar.
Sharif.
Yeah, that's correct. You take a share of the lead.
Shahbaz Sharif, but I think.
Yeah, Shahbaz Sharif
Yeah,
is
but
right.
I didn't want to risk it.
Yeah, it's good strategy there. Matthew, here's your 13th direct. This is a self-portrait of which artist known for creating the cover images for the Saturday Evening Post. In February 1960, 44 years after the artist joined this magazine, ran a biographical piece on him. For the issue's cover, the artist was commissioned to depict himself, and thus he created this clever and comical triple self-portrait.
Rockwell.
Rockwell is correct.
Guys, just give me 1 second. I need to get the total.
All right, all right.
Yeah, let's go.
All right. It's the final direct of the penultimate round. Matthew, here's your 14th question. In which sport did the Indian quartet of Rupa Rani Tirke, Nayanmani Shaikya, Lovely Chaube, and Pinky Singh earn a gold medal for India? The objective of the sport is to come as close as you can to a jack or a kitty.
Balls.
I'll prompt you.
Oh. What do you call this? Crown green bowling. Bowling.
Uh,
I think you can pass it and check it later.
All right, let's pass it then. Paul
Pass.
passes to Sourjo.
Lawn bowls.
Yeah, lawn bowls is correct. I checked Matthew. I can't like award you points on bowling. The awards a prompt like I did.
No, he said balls. I think he said balls.
Yeah. He said he
Yeah.
started with
Said
bulls.
bowls and then he
Yeah.
said bowling, but he did not say lawn with
Yeah,
them.
No, but
said
I think you were not supposed to prompt on
Yeah,
balls because you already
Just bowls
said,
is acceptable. It's
yeah,
in the middle.
balls
Oh
is
yeah, just
acceptable.
bowls is acceptable. I'm sorry
Yeah,
about that. Oh, then
I said
Matthew, can you
crown green bowls. Is crown
Yeah,
green,
yeah,
oh, it's different from lawn bowls.
No,
Yeah,
no,
it's
you said balls first and
said
you
balls
didn't need
first, so
to
that's an
prompt at all
acceptable answer.
actually. That's the correct
completely
I
my
said-
bad. Yeah, that's acceptable. You get the full point there. All right.
Because you said balls first, so it was not supposed to be prompted at all actually.
Yeah.
Prompt on bowling, yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
correct.
said bowls. Bowls is allowed, yeah.
Yeah, bowls
Yeah,
is correct.
that's why you were not. It was not supposed to be prompted,
Okay.
and you were supposed to be given a point in the beginning.
Okay,
you said.
oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Bowls is
That's
also acceptable. All right. We move into the final round. Matthew, you trail Prakhar and Sourjo by 2 points. Prakhar, here's your 15th direct. Based on the play of the same name by Alexander Pushkin and featuring the Tsar who reigned during the time of the Troubles, Boris Godunov, it's the only completed opera by which composer with the first name that was perhaps unfair to the wealth of his talent, at least in English.
Modest Mussorgsky.
Oh,
Yeah, that's correct. This is Modest Mussorgsky. It's a great
very
answer.
good.
And here's your final direct, Prakhar. Which city dubbed the world's greatest open-air museum, owing to its large temple complexes, is located on the banks of the White Nile? The name that translates to palace in Arabic, the city is a huge tourist draw for visiting the Valley of Kings and Queens. Shares its name with an Indian stationery company and a Las Vegas hotel.
Yeah, Luxor.
Yeah, Luxor is correct.
I did use some Luxor sketch pens in my childhood.
All right, Sourjo, you need 2 out of 2 by Prakhar. Here's your 15 direct. The first of V.B. Anderson's many collaborations with Ingmar Bergman was in which 1955 comedy featuring couples who switched partners in the course of a night? Film inspired the Stephen Sondheim musical A Little Night Music, as well as Woody Allen's A Midsummer Night Sex Comedy. Ten seconds.
I don't know if there's a film, but I'll say Ein Klein Nachtmusik.
No, Paul,
Pass.
Matthew.
Smiles of a Summer's Night.
Yeah, that's a great answer. It's The Smiles of a Summer's Night.
I've watched all of these, but I didn't get them all. Darn it.
All right. Sourjo, here's your final direct of the game. Alexander McQueen appeared in his last fashion show titled Plato's Atlantis in 2010. In that show, he debuted these iconic shoes that were inspired by which film franchise? Lady Gaga wore these shoes in her video for Bad Romance. She incidentally debuted the song Bad Romance at this fashion show's finale.
Alien.
Yeah, that's correct. This is Alien. You move on to 16 points for that. Paul, here's your 15th direct. The Philippines' unlikely love affair with basketball drove New Yorker journalist Rafe Bartolomeo to pen which book? This creative and funny book title references a totally unrelated film in both the country's location and the metal circle through which a ball must pass to score a point in the sport.
Pacific Ring.
I'll prompt you.
Oh, Pacific Rim.
Yeah, Pacific Rim is correct.
Okay.
The rim refers to the
Yeah.
that through the basketball passes through. All right. Paul, here's your 16th direct. In which year was George Washington born? It was the same year Benjamin Franklin began publishing Poor Richard's Almanac. If you add a decimal after the first digit in the year, you get the rounded value of the principal square root of 3. It is also known as Theodorus' constant, since Theodorus of Cyrene proved its irrationality.
1713.
Passes to Matthew,
I'll just pass.
Sourjo,
Us.
Prakhar.
1732.
Yeah, that's correct.
Wow.
Oh, very good.
Amazing there, Prakhar. And here's your 15th direct, Matthew. Which icon of London's Trafalgar Square is seen here as a work in progress in the early 1840s? Clicked by William Talbot, it may look like a short of work being actively completed, but in reality, all work was halted at this stage due to a funding crunch. The 4 bronze lions around the structure's base, designed by Sir Edwin Landseer, were added much later.
Nelson's Column.
Nelson's column is correct. And here's your final direct. If you get this, you tie with Sourjo for the second place win. One of the darkest films in the Ingmar Bergman pantheon, which 1960 film that won him the first of his 3 best foreign film Oscars, is a seasonal word included in its title, because the word here describes the water that gushes out from the spot where a murdered girl's head lies at the end of the film.
Oh no. What's this tea?
10 seconds, Matthew.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Spring Symphony. It's not.
Paul,
Pass.
Sourjo,
I don't know. Spring of Death.
Prakhar.
The Virgin Spring.
That's correct. This is
Of course.
What
The
was it?
Virgin Spring.
Oh, the Virgin
Virgin
Spring.
Spring.
Oh, what's
Brilliant
that
victory
tea?
there from Prakhar.
Yeah.
Came back all the way. Brilliant game.
Very well played.
Very good
Great
game,
level.
guys. Very good game.
GG.
All right.
Thanks
Good
for
luck
reading.
for the rest of
Thanks
them.
for reading.
So,
Yeah. Bye-bye, guys.
You can stop the recording.
Let's stop sharing and stop the recording.
all right, see you later.
Bye.